It seems to be muted here. Okay, folks, welcome and welcome to Focus on Liberia. I'm Sonny CA. We got some breaking news for you. Many of you know we don't do the breaking news thing, but today we got one for you. It's political, and you know this is the hour of politics. Expect politics to come to your cell phone, your computer, your tablet, your iPad, whatever you're using to follow this broadcast. Do that favor for us. Hit that share button, share the show, and let's get started right away. Like I said, we got breaking news for you. Of course, this is the hour of politics. Of course, this is Focus on Liberia, and we are broadcasting as always from our headquarters, Atlanta. Hey, talking about breaking news, let me lay it on you. The opposition Liberty Party, the crisis deepens. It is out of control. The struggle for power is in the roof in the opposition Liberty Party. I have said many times the party is damaged. The party is destroyed. It has become nothing but a shame and a disgrace and an embarrassment. And I know the Liberty Party folks don't want to hear that. I'm here to tell the truth for what the truth is. Let us start talking about the breaking news. The Liberty Party political leader declared convention null and void. That is a legal term there, null and void. Today, it was a major press conference expected, though, by the political leader, now embattled political leader of the Liberty Party. And after she went on to explain all of the legal wrangling here and there and along lines, she declared the convention that produced Chairman Musa's ability to be null and void, which means that Chairman Musa's ability is no longer the chairman of Liberty Party. The political leader has taken the mantle of authority and technically we can say has suspended Musa's ability. Really, does she have the power to do so? Is it within her right to do so? Does she have any backing based on the constitution of the Liberty Party? We have a copy of the Liberty Party constitution. Not only a copy, we have copies. The first, the second, the third. We have it here at Focus on Liberia. And we have been reading and we have the information for you. Folks, let us get started. And we will also talk about Prince Johnson being sanctioned by the U.S. government. And finally, I am on a mission to explaining to Liberians the budget, the draft national budget of 2022. Into this edition of the Hour of Politics, this morning edition, by the way, I will be touching on the allotment of the counties. Oh, they have some money in the budget for our counties? Yes, they do. But the question is, what they have allotted in the budget for our counties. We will compare what has been allotted for all of our counties combined with what have been allotted or what has been allotted for the legislature. And we'll also compare what has been allotted in the budget for the counties with the Ministry of Presidential Affairs, with President Weah's budget, or allotments also for the First Lady. Hey, this edition of Our Politics will be nothing but politics, but it will be fair, it will be balanced, it will be accurate, it will be analytical. And so, folks, as always here, the breaking news is that Nyomble Kanga Lawrence, the embattled political leader of the opposition Liberty Party, has declared the convention that produced Musa Hassan Belete as its chairman on a web ballot, by the way, nor and vor. So if what she did is anything banning constitutionally or legally, then Musa Belete is no longer the chairman of the Liberty Party. Does she have all the power? Hey, before we get started, let us introduce our station and then we'll get into the issues. Don't go anywhere.
At Focus on Liberia, we discuss everything Liberia, from education to politics, arts and culture, entertainment, agriculture, history, religion, family, and technology. Focus on Liberia uncovers and showcases the best of Liberia and shows the world the truth about Liberia. We educate, elevate, and promote all things Liberia. We conduct interviews, panel discussions, debates, and more. Tune in to Focus on Liberia on Facebook and YouTube and be a part of the stories that make up the news.
This is Focus on Liberia, and I am Dennis Jar.
Dennis Jar, thank you. And I'm Ansonin here, the host of the Hour of Politics here. I focus on Liberia, where we always try to educate, elevate, and promote all things Liberia. Let's get to these issues right away. I just want 1 hour of your time as I lay all these, solid, accurate and banner information on you. So let's get started with our breaking news. The Liberty Party political leader, Nyomble Kanga Lawrence, the senator of Grambassa County, has declared the convention that produced its chairman, Musa Hassan Belete, nor and vor. And I'm saying to you, if what she's done is anything legal, if it is within her right constitutionally to do so, then Mr. Hassan Belete is no longer the chairman of Liberty Party. But that is a constitutional matter. And I think this thing is far from over. It's going to get nasty. It's going to get ugly. Just you think that it may not have already been ugly, but it goes on. So let's get into the nitty-gritty. And we can do, first of all, by telling you that of recent, Musa Hassan Belete made a move. And according to the letter he penned, he said in the letter that in collaboration with the NEC, which is the National Executive Committee of the Opposition Liberty Party, they had reached a decision to suspend its political leader, Senator Lauren Kanga Lawrence, a vice chairman for political affairs, Mr. Abraham Darius DeLong, quote unquote, Daniel Giles would say, the proverbial light, the guy who claims to be the light. Of course, I will report to you he's not a light. If he is, then he's just a fake one, and that is just the truth. Don't take offense to the language. When something is not real, it's what? It's fake. So let's make progress. Let's get to the issue here, folks. So DeLong is suspended? Really? Nyomble Kanga Lawrence was suspended? Really? And other executive committee leaders and members of the opposition Liberty Party, because according to a letter sent out by its now embattled chairman, Musa Hassan Belete, they fail to abide by a constitutional clause or a constitutional requirement, which is the payment of dues. And because they have failed to do so, they have been suspended. But what does the Constitution say? The Musa Hassan Belete have that authority as chairman to suspend these leaders. Was he acting on the Constitution? So let us bring you the Constitution and read it for you, especially the clause that Musa Hassan Belete used as his yardstick, as his legal backing for executing this decision that further deepen the really worsening and uncontrollable crisis within the opposition Liberty Party. Let's read that clause for you. It reads, this is Article 9 of the Liberty Party Constitution, and the section that speaks specifically about meeting due is Section 7, and it reads, members who are not in good standing shall not be allowed to hold any office within the party. And if such member holds a position in the party, elected or appointed, she shall be suspended from the office by the neck. And it is the neck that has the authority to do so, until she shall have resumed the status of membership in good standing, meaning that after the person who failed to pay their meeting due shall have gone to pay their meeting due and then come into good standing, that person remains suspended. If after 3 months, after that person has failed to pay the meeting dues, and in 3 months' time failed to, make sure that they have settled their indebtedness with the party, as stipulated within the Constitution of the Liberty Party, 3 months after, such person is still delinquent. That is, if the person is still delinquent after 3 months, he or she shall be permanently removed from the office and may also be expelled from the office. We're talking law. We're talking constitution. The Liberty Party is a political party, as it claims, that believes in the rule of law. In fact, it was established by one of Liberia's renowned lawyers, right? And so the Liberty Party has proud all along itself as a political party that was founded on the foundation of the rule of law, and constitutionality. If I want to be a little bit of satire here. So folks, we're talking law, we're talking constitution. And they say the Constitution of Liberty Party is the supreme lord of that political institution, and that no one is above the law. No one is above the Constitution. It is the Constitution in Article 9, Section 7, that clearly says any member, elected or appointed, who fails to pay meeting dues shall be suspended by whom? The NEC, the National Executive Committee of the Opposition Liberty Party, according to its constitution. And it went further by saying when that happens, and in 3 months' time, that person who is suspended or has been suspended, in 3 months' time, when the person fails to make payment, to bring the self-current in terms of due payment in the Liberty Party, that person, whether or not elected or appointed, shall be removed from the party. And not only removed according to that constitution, talking about, Section 9 of Article 9, it went further by saying the person shall also be expelled from the party. Plain and simple. So the question is, the Constitution says this is something that can be done? Yes, simple. So, did Nyomli not pay her dues? Did Dillon not pay his dues? Did the other members of the Opposition Liberty Party who were suspended along with Nyomli and Dillon not pay their dues? Musa Hassan Belete is saying yes, they did not pay their dues. According to Musa, the National Executive Committee of the Opposition Liberty Party, based on their records that they have viewed, listen to me, I'm quoting people here, all right? And I'm also telling you what has been reported. This is rating. It's on the party, letterhead. Yeah, we are aware this party is in conflict So there are reasons to question some of the decisions that have been made, coming from the leaders who are, completely divided. But the fact remains, the Constitution of Liberty Party is strong. But let me make progress with the statement I'm making. So the law is being enforced here, right? And who's supposed to enforce this particular clause, this particular article? The law said it is the NEC, the National Executive Committee. And according to Musa, there was not a decision unilaterally taken by him. According to him, they have what they call a quorum. Now, there are technicalities and there's debate, about what constitutes quorum at a NEC meeting. And the law is dead and is up for debate, obviously, right? These people are fighting. But let me make progress. He said this was a decision by the authorized arm of the Liberty Party, which is the NEC, which the Constitution says has that authority to make any such decision of not only suspension, but also expulsion and removal. So if Musa got this thing right, and if Musa got the quorum needed, and if Musa was in a meeting with the National Executive Committee of the Liberty Party, and if it is true that they have a quorum, they met, they reviewed the records, and the records show that these members, including the political leader, and also the vice chairman for political affairs, Darius DeLong, have been in debt with this party or have failed to pay their dues for several months, above 3 months, and they have had time to pay and they did not pay, then of course that decision constitutionally should be binding on them. So let me provide some facts around that too. According to Musa, the political leader Nyomble Kanka Loring owes 18,000 United States dollars in meeting dues. How is that believable? You have a year, so to speak, to pay. That is from January of 2021 to December of 2021, according to the records, as I'm quoting Musa here. Senator Senator Nyomble Kanga Lawrence, the Liberty Party's political leader, did not pay a dime. So if that is true, that means this failure on her part warrants this particular clause in the Liberty Party Constitution to be put into force. And if Musa have acted in concert or in consultation with the NEC, then this decision practically should be binding. But in her press conference today, Nyomble Kanka Lawrence said, hey, some members have been paying dues to Musa's personal account, to another person, and the records are not clear as to where members have to pay their dues. Some members have even paid their dues in some other counties. Wait a minute. Is this a justification to say that she has been paying her dues somewhere other than where the dues supposed to be paid? Folks, are you listening to the political leader? She is giving reasons or trying to establish some facts that which Musa said that she has not paid any dues, if I can put it that way, it's not true. And the way she can establish that is to say, look, first of all, we don't have one account. First of all, second of all, there has been confusion as to where to pay, to whom to pay. And in fact, some members in the counties have paid to the county. And she went further by saying, she who has been, single-handedly, financing some activities of the party. And she was even able to spend about $20,000 in securing a office space or headquarters of the Liberty Party sometime back. For Musa to think that she has not paid her due is just laughable. Madam, you can spend $20,000 on a party. Meeting dues is different. I mean, if you're meeting dues, if you have communicated that you pay that or you use that to pay for the headquarters, then that's another thing. But according to Musa, the records are clear that you have not paid dues. So clearly, what I wanted to have heard from the Liberty Party's political leader was to respond specifically to the accusation by Musa. Musa quoting the record saying that she did not pay any dues. Or I wanted her to say that this is not true. I have paid dues and here are the records. Man, a political leader, do you not keep record of your due payment? Or if you don't have record, maybe the party should have the record, but the custodians of the party record, Musa is saying, hey, you didn't pay anything for 12 months. You owe $18,000. You have not paid. And the other piece is that according to Musa, they communicated with these members within the opposition Liberty Party, the leaders, Nyomble Kanka Lawrence, Senator Darius Diden, and others, that they have informed them through writing that you are behind. We want you to make payment. And yet they fail to respond to the communication, asking them or reminding them to pay. And following the communication, some of the executive committee members said, look, let's give them another notice. Let's serve them another notice. Let's remind them again that, hey, you are indebted to the party in terms of meeting dues, come and pay. So if you look at all these explanations and files surrounding this thing, there are reasons to believe that the political leader has not paid her dues. And that Senator Darius Dillon has not paid dues, and the same can be true about most of the members that have been suspended. Because other members were not suspended because, according to them, they have been paying their dues. So I wanted Senator Dillon to respond today, and Dillon, when he was asked the question, he would not answer the question. He was beating around the bush. He went on a justification spree saying, hey, due payment is not the only element you can use to say somebody is in good standing. The question, the reason for which you be suspended, Senator Dillon, along with the political leader and the others, is your failure to pay meeting dues. He could not speak to that question. And so, folks, the breaking news here is, after all this, Senator Nyomble Kanga Lawrence, the political leader, is saying, Musa suspending me and others, I would the political leader, I would the boss here, what power does he have after questioning, whether or not she paid due, she came to say, hey, I'm going to have a press conference. And today the press conference was held. And the breaking news from the press conference, fellow librarians listening to me, is that the political leader declared the convention that elected Musa Hassan Bedete as his party's chairman null and void. So there you have it. That is your breaking news. So the crisis, the fight, the conflict in the Liberty Party is now growing or going above and beyond. This thing, from what I know, will never be resolved anytime soon. Now, if you remember, of recent, they had a meeting at one hotel in Liberia. The pictures were flying on social media. You have Musa Hassan Belete, Nyomble Kanga Lawrence. They were all laughing and they said they have put this behind us. They were all pretending. That's the thing that's the second main about these leaders. They are so pretentious. They do these things because they have one thing in mind: how they can get the power they want. They don't tell the truth about what actually is happening in their political institutions. In fact, Darius Dillon is accusing Musa Belete of being the one bringing issues in the party to the public. But when this guy is always having interview and just putting everything out there. So the big war here is null and void. And here I focus on Liberia. We always try to be educational. So let's bring you some better understanding. Null and void. What does that mean, legally speaking? I'm not a lawyer, but we research these things and bring them to you for you to understand. Null and void. Having no legal binding. Having no legal there is a mistake there. So it should be having no legal so if you're having no legal binding force. Okay. Hold on there, folks. Let me make a correction. We will make a correction right here. So having no legal binding force. In other words, to render illegitimate. So declaring the convention that elected Musa Belete, the meaning there is that that election has no legal binding force on the Liberty Party, which means that Musa Belete is no longer the chairman of the Liberty Party. In other words, it also means to render illegitimate. Now, to render something illegitimate is to not make it legitimate. So we will also define for you illegitimate. Illegitimate means not authorized by law. So Yombli Kanka Lawrence is also saying Musa Hassan Belete as chairman, then, if I can put it that way, of the opposition Liberty Party is no longer authorized by law. And you might be thinking, what law again? And so they say, oh, the convention is a law. The convention is in the Constitution. It is a legal process through which sometimes leaders are elected, or most times leaders are elected. All right. So the fact that that convention has been declared null and void by the political leader, if she's acting in accordance with the Constitution, Musa Belete is an illegitimate chairman of the opposition Liberty Party, which means that he is not authorized by any law within the opposition Liberty Party to serve and act as the chairman of the opposition Liberty Party. Folks, there you have it. Liberty Party crisis will destroy Liberty Party. Liberty Party has become a shame and a disgrace. The party is damaged. I don't want folks to bring the sympathy about, Mr. Brunskin funded this party. It was the best party. Save me that sympathy. We're talking about leadership here. And in fact, let me bring the other component to you. The fact that Yombli Kanka Lawrence acted in this way, can her decision to declare the convention null and void, can that decision be binding within Liberty Party? Can it be binding on Musa Hassan Belete? How will we get some clue? We will get some clue from the very Constitution. So let's go to the Constitution. Let's look at the powers of the political leader as stipulated within the Liberty Party's Constitution. Let me read it for you. And bear with me as I bear my head down to read it. I want to read from their Constitution. And if there's anybody, I've had an opportunity to see the Liberty Party Constitution, I will send you to go to Article 6, where it says officers and functions. Now, if you want to know the page, I'd encourage you to go to page 14. We have the record here, folks. So let me read for you. Then under Article 6, officers and function, let me send you to number 1, standard bearer / political leader. The standard bearer shall be formally elected at the National Convention to serve as the candidate for president of Liberia for the ensuing presidential and general election following the conclusion of the party primaries. The presidential nominee shall be deemed the standard bearer of the party during an election year. The standard bearer shall be the leader and chief representative, spokesperson of the party. So this is the Liberty Party constitution saying that the political leader or stand bearer / political leader shall be what? The leader and chief representative / spokesperson of the party. So the party constitution has given the political leader or has made the political leader the head of the party. But wait, does it mean that political leader being the chief or representative and spokesperson can or has the power now to just do just about anything and it becomes binding on everybody? No, there is a caveat. Let me read that for you. And here it goes. The NEC, in consultation with the stand bearer / political leader, shall formulate policies and procedures to implement the decisions of the National Convention, call special sessions of the National Convention, as provided for in Article 8, and take such other actions and proper measures that may be deemed as necessary to advance the best interests of the party. So basically, what they is saying is that the political leader, even though he been made the chief representative and / spokesperson of the party, but he shall act or she shall act in consultation. You know the word consultation. That means you can't just go and make a decision. You must act in consultation, or the person must act in consultation with the NEC. And that means if that political leader does not act in consultation with the NEC, the National Executive Council, the National Executive Committee of the Liberty Party, whatever that leader does is not constitutional. So that begs the question. This press conference that was just held by Senator Lawrence, did she get the blessing of the NEC? The very NEC that gave Musa the blessing to execute the suspension of Musa, to execute the suspension of the political leader, Dillon, and others. Did this very NEC, in consultation with the political leader, agree to nullify the convention that produced Musa Hassan Belete, to render this convention that produced Musa as a chairman null and void, until she acts in consultation with the National Executive Committee? Whatever she does as political leader is not constitutional, cannot be binding, will be illegal. She will be acting unconstitutionally. She will be violating the constitution of the Liberty Party. Folks, you get that? So that is the key question. If we can find the answer, then it will be safe to say what she has done is legal, is constitutional, and that Mr. Hassan Belete is no longer the chairman of the opposition Liberty Party. But if that is not the case, then all she did was a political bluff. So let us wait and see. Because in the opposition Liberty Party, there's always fight and this and the other about quorum and non-quorum, what constitutes. So they're always having that argument there. But I just wanted to let you know the Liberty Party constitution makes the political leader as the chief representative. That means she can represent the party. That means she can also speak for the party, or she is the official spokesperson of the party. In the very constitution, they say in the absence of the political leader, when the political leader is incapacitated, automatically the chairman of the party becomes the chief spokesperson, representative of the party. But either the political leader or the chairperson, any decision one of them makes can only and will only be legal, constitutional, and binding only and only if or when they do it in consultation with the National Executive Committee. From what we know now, Musa is saying he acted in consultation with the National Executive Committee. If that is true, his decision of suspending Nyambli Kanka, Lawrence, Dillon, and others remains in force and is binding. And if Nyambli Kanka, Lawrence also acted in consultation, and if there were quorum for this political press conference she had today, in which she rendered the convention that produced Musa null and void, then of course Musa is no. So I'm saying this, and then making this analysis for you to get a clear picture. And I hope I am in no way confusing you, because the way I understand it is simple. If you are the political leader, anything you do must be in consultation with the National Executive Committee. Did she do that? Did she get their blessing? Was there a quorum? Was the press conference sanctioned or approved by the National Executive Committee? If that is the case, then she's in line with the Constitution. The Musa act in consultation with the National Executive Committee. But we should also understand now, in Musa's case, the Constitution of the Liberty Party gives him the right. Because if you look at the Executive Committee, from my calculation, majority of them even are indebted to the party. And the clause I read earlier, which is Article 9, Section 7, once you fail to pay your meeting dues and you fail to do so 3 months, you can be suspended. It means automatically the Constitution has suspended you. Musa and the administrator only need to announce or enforce it. The Constitution did not say in enforcing the clause that talks about meeting due, you need to get the blessing of the National Executive Committee. No, if Musa did so, it's because he wanted to give the decision, a consensus. He wanted to give it more weight. He wanted to give the due courtesy to the National Executive Committee. Because clearly, read the Constitution is simple. Yeah, it said, the chairman need to act in consultation with them. And also said it is the National Executive Committee, that can sanction, approve the removal and the expulsion of a member for non-due payment. But why in the case where these very NEC members are themselves, in violation of the clause that talks about the new due payment, someone has to enforce the law. So either way you look at it, Musa, hate him or like him, he took a decision as a man. And from what he's saying, he did it in consultation with them, meaning the National Executive Committee. They are reason to take that decision serious. So that would be it. And Dillon is all over the place. I regretted why I elected Musa Ability. I will lead a campaign to remove Musa Ability. I mean, Dillon, you were the one going on a justification mission that, Musa Hassan Ability is now the sword turned to Paul, and now you come by, you call him a criminal after taking his money from him. You see your lie. This guy is all over the place. He doesn't even know what he's doing. And he thinks the resolution to this issue is to lead a campaign, for Musa Hassan Ability to be removed. What happened to the picture? They took reason when Dillon was laughing, Nyambli was laughing. And also talking about the decision taken by Musa Hassan Ability, according to him, in consultation with the National Executive Committee, which, we look at, he acted legally. After that was done, there's a video. It looks like a family video. It got leaked. But the thing is that this thing happened just about the time these suspensions were handed down by Musa Berete against these leaders, which includes the political leader. So it's obvious why the other side is so furious. So let's watch the video and have some political fun here, my people. Musa Hassan Berete is dancing the zombie. He has become president. We are now, he's dancing the zombie song. He thinks things are just going her way here. Let's watch. After suspending the political leader, the last person for political affairs, that was the Lord, another member, the zombie. Go down low, there you have it. Going down. He's saying he's not a villain. So, folks, there you have it. Musa Hassan Berete doing the zombie dance. Look, sometimes we need to have fun, Sometimes we need to decompress. And sometimes we need to relax our mental tension, because politics become toxic, emotion, go so high in the roof. And by the way, let me mute it, and then let's watch Musa as he dances this zombie dance. And this was after he handed down this politically heavy decision against its Liberty Party political leader, Nyambli Kanka Lawrence. This is not pretty. This is ugly. They have all the opportunities to avoid this. Nyambli and Dillon, they all elected state gentlemen on a white ballot. Why are they not working with him? And to ability to, you got the support of these people. It's ability acting on the Constitution. Is this thing personal? Are they ever going to get this right? I don't think so. This thing is getting uglier and uglier, and it will only end in pieces. And what we see, I don't know what to make of it again. I have to go to something else. Folks, I have to go to something else here, which is Senator Prince Johnson. Let's talk about Senator Prince Johnson, by the way. So, Senator Prince Johnson sanctioned by the U.S. government, right? Prince Johnson sanctioned by the U.S. government. So, Prince Johnson has been sanctioned by the United States government. Why? The U.S. government sanctioned Prince Johnson for several reasons. Number one, pay to play. Sometimes they call it pay for play. Some people call it P2P. So what is that? Pay to play is when someone gives you money to do something that benefits that person who gives you that money. Folks, you're going to enjoy this edition of the Hour of Politics with me. So that is pay to play. We try to make it educational and simplistic, So again, let's go to the definition. Pay for play. So let's define it. So that is when somebody pay you money for you to do something that benefits that person who pays you that money, then it is called pay for play. It is also called pay to play. Now, pay to play is when someone gives you money and you went to play, to execute, to carry on the reason for which you have been given the money. And when you are doing so, you are playing your part of the pay to play. The person who gave you the money play his part or her part by giving you the money. And when you receive the money, you go ahead to carry on that reason for which you've been given the money. It is called play to pay. I mean, pay to play. So that is what Prince Johnson is being accused of doing by the U.S. government. Is this true? Are there instances? What can we look at to say all that the U.S. government tries to say yet is true? So let me give you some facts. I'm a political guy. When I say political guy, I'm not saying I'm a politician. I try to follow political issues to share with Liberians and provide some understanding and context around it, analyze them, based on my research and all that. So Prince Johnson has been playing. He's been taking pay to play. Prince Johnson has been taking money for the purpose of playing political games that benefit his benefactor, the one who gives him the money, and that also serves him financially. That is why he has been on. I will give you many instances. Number one, in 2005, after the war, the first elections was held. Ellen Johnson Sirleaf participated in that election. There were 21 candidates, by the way. President George Manawia was also a candidate and participated in that election. Prince Johnson was also a candidate and participated in that election. In that election for 2005, President Ellen Johnson Sirleaf got 19.7% of the total votes cast and counted. President George Manawia got 28.7%. I don't remember the percent, but he got 28.something%. In that election, Prince Johnson won 99% of the total votes cast for presidency in Ima County. Prince Johnson. And so, because of the 21 candidates, and also because our laws, our election law requires that to become or to be elected president, one must obtain 50% plus a single vote, meaning 51%. No one won our election. No one was able to meet the constitutional requirement. As a result, what happened? The election went to second round, and it has always been the case historically now in Liberia. What happened? Prince Johnson in that election said, President Weah and Ellen Johnson Sirleaf, who obtained the first and second highest vote cast, respectively, were the two candidates in the second round. Prince said, look, of these two, we have to go with the lesser evil. And Prince Johnson endorsed and pledged his support to Madam Ellen Johnson Sirleaf. And so in a runoff election, Madam Ellen Johnson Sirleaf won that election, I believe, with 59%, defeating the football icon, the most popular candidate at the time in that election, now President George Opon Mane Bekube Tape Kronjale Weah. What happened? Ellen Johnson Sirleaf has given Prince Johnson millions. And that is how Prince Johnson made a decision for his financial benefit to support Ellen Johnson Sirleaf. In other words, Prince Johnson took money from Ellen before endorsing, pledging, campaigning, and voting, and asking his supporters to vote for Ellen Johnson Sirleaf. Prince Johnson took pay to play. He put that money in his pocket. That's number one. Number two, 2011, the second round of the election came. Prince Johnson again went with Ellen Johnson Sirleaf. And in fact, in that election, Prince Johnson said, if George Weah were to be elected, there will be chaos. And so he went with Ellen Johnson Sirleaf. Ellen Johnson Sirleaf again gave money to Prince Johnson. Prince Johnson again took money to play. He took money from Ellen. Instead, number two. Number three, 2017, there was an election. In fact, when the election started, this time Ellen Johnson Sirleaf was not in the race. Initially, the Prince Johnson was in Bwaka's corner. He said the old man was the right person. Apparently, that was when Ellen Johnson Sirleaf and Bwaka were somehow, trying to be on the same page. But fast forward, things got disintegrated within the Unity Party. And so Ellen, I believe, might, have like, Lord, I can't support Bwaka. And the fact that Prince Johnson knew that Bwaka did not have any money to play or to pay, he wanted to cash out again. Where could the money come from? Then the Prince Johnson, who has voiced support for Bwaka initially, when he got to know that Ellen Johnson Sirleaf was now on board with Bwaka, and so for him to have cashed out financially in that election was very much impossible. And when he saw Ellen Johnson Sirleaf supporting George Weah, even if Prince Johnson were not to get his cash right away, he knew that Weah had a chance to win. And even if he could not get paid before election, he could get paid after election when Weah should have won the election. What happened? Prince Johnson later endorsed George Weah. George Weah became president. Again, Prince Johnson cashed out. 3 instances. What are we talking about right now? Where is Prince Johnson? Prince Johnson is wearing the CDC barrier. Prince Johnson is being seen all the time, despite of, and they're trying to criticize the government, but he is with the government. He's been seen at CDC party headquarters. He's been seen with President Weah wearing the barrier and here and there. So that is Prince Johnson. Where can money come from for Prince Johnson? It can only come from the government as we speak. Maybe somewhere else, but for now, he's sure. Fast forward. Another thing Prince Johnson has been accused of is that he has directly or indirectly engaged in corruption. That one is plain and simple. Corruption is in many forms, one of which is bribery. Has Prince Johnson been taking bribes? Yes, Prince Johnson has been taking bribes. Prince Johnson, he said, admitted and reported that they were giving $6,000, even though the lie said $5,000, for them to pass the stimulus package. Prince Johnson was in the legislature, was in the Senate, when 66 concession agreements were declared bogus, when brown envelopes were the order of the day in the Ellen Johnson Sirleaf administration. Nearly every concession agreement that was ratified by the legislature got envelopes. In other words, the legislature took bribes for Ellen Johnson Sirleaf. Prince Johnson was the king. And in fact, let me give you Prince Johnson a nickname. He is the king of pay to play. He is the king of pay to play. So, folks, Prince Johnson has been involved in bribery, which is a form of corruption. Now, another form of corruption Prince Johnson is being accused, and I want to believe in this code of public opinion I'm rendering him guilty of, is the idea that Prince Johnson collects money from the Liberian government. In other words, from the executive branch of government, when in fact Prince Johnson is a member of the legislature. And according to our constitution, no member of any branch of government shall be employed or work and receive salary in another branch. Prince Johnson, all the years, has been receiving money from the executive branch of government in the name of maintaining domestic stability in Liberia. For some reason, our leaders have feared this guy so much that if they don't give him money for him to be calm, fearing that he may bring another war. And it's not only the fear of instability, it is also the main fact that he has had the political capital that he's able to put on sale anytime election comes around. And so the leaders conniving with Prince Johnson, the leaders in the executive, have been giving Prince Johnson, a sitting senator, money from the executive in the name of quote-unquote domestic stability. That is corruption. That is a violation of the Constitution. It should not have been. And of course, Prince Johnson during the war looted private and public properties for his financial gain and aggrandizement. That's what he did. That is stealing, that is corruption, and it should not be done. So the U.S. government has mustered the courage to to sanction Prince Johnson. And so Prince Johnson has been sanctioned by the U.S. government. All of these allegations, based on the facts that I have researched, I have no reason to doubt that Prince Johnson has been engaged and involved in all of these things that he's been accused of. And in a court of public opinion, based on facts, I think Prince Johnson is guilty of these things. I think the U.S. government has done its due diligence. But the other question is, will they have any bearing on Prince Johnson? Does they do anything to Prince Johnson? Does this minimize Prince Johnson political capital? Will that make Prince Johnson to look ugly in the eyes of the people of Nimba? Will the people of Nimba now see Prince Johnson as a non-political entity? If you look at it, you might be tempted to believe so, and there's some truth to that, because Prince Johnson has not been traveling anyway. The guy can't even go to Ghana. He's afraid that. But what he does is, if he were ever thinking of doing so to go to the area of Ghana on an ECOWAS meeting, he will be more careful now, because the fact that the UF place sanction on him, the UF might get remorse and pick this guy off. I don't know, but the fact remains that the people of Nimba will have to give Prince Johnson a second. But the point I was looking at, the guy has not been traveling. So this sanction does not deny he is paid. This sanction does not take away his seat as a senator. This sanction does not take away his church. This sanction does not take all of the financial assets that he has, the money he got from corruption, the money he got from pay to play, the bribes that he received. This sanction does not take all of those things or none of those things away. So Prince Johnson, in his calculation, though might be afraid, but might also be thinking that this is just a bluff. Prince Johnson in Liberia owns a university that is even better than the University of Liberia. And you think where the money comes from? From the pay to play, from the money he has been receiving from the executive in the name of maintaining domestic justice, from the bribes that he's been receiving at the legislature as a senator to ratify deals and contractual agreements, and also insensitive allotment that have been given to the lawmakers, like the 30,000 US that we heard of late, which Senator Dillon, they lied, also took some of it and went on the justification spree. This guy Dillon, I will hold him accountable. And some of you might think it's personal. It's not personal. Dillon came and inspired hope in many Liberians, both in Liberia and abroad. Many have believed in this guy. I was one of those persons who have conceived this little hope in this guy that he would do better. But my research is that this guy is pretentious. This guy is fake. This guy is an opportunist. This guy is not a leader. He just have this little mouth and know how to fool few people just for some time. And there we have Dillon. So I will leave it there. So to conclude on this Darius Dillon issue, Senator Prince Johnson issue here, let me read something for you here quickly. And then that will conclude it, and then we'll go to something important that you need to hear from me. The allotment of our counties in the budget. You need to hear this from me, folks. You need to hear this from me. You need to hear this from me. So let me read something for you here quickly. And let me give credit to a big brother, a senior brother called Rabbi Monsieur Kwade. He wrote a piece in which he captured everything about Prince Johnson with respect to this sanction that he's been placed under by the United States government. This thing should not be taken lightly. And I also want, like all us Liberians have said, pay to play is not a one-person attitude or behavior. For pay to play or pay for play to be possible, it involves many people, a few people, or maybe two persons. The person who gets the money and the person who receives the money. And sometimes this kind of money can be given through others. For example, when Ellen was giving the money, apparently she was not giving it directly from her hand to Prince Johnson. She acted through people. The same can be said about other leaders who have been involved in this thing, which includes, the current administration of George Manawia. I'm not a coward. I'm talking about my country and few people who have the opportunity to serve and abuse in power. And you think they should not be mentioned here? So let us read that piece that captured it all, written by Rabbi Monsieur Kwade. And Monsieur, if you are watching me, thank you. And I'm giving credit to him. Other Liberians will not give their friends credit for what they do. Let me read for you quickly and bear with me. He titled it, The Exposure of PYJ Pay to Play Scandal. Monsieur writes, pay to play is also a bribe. Demanding payment to perform a certain notorious and mischievous acts, or conversely using money or grandiose gift to influence and manipulate a person to perform an egregious, reprehensible, and inappropriate act that defies law and morality. Bear with me. Monsieur is a guy who is heavy on words. He has words to a fingertip. But I'll try to break it down for you. Or let us just follow. Bribery involves more than one person. It must be two or more persons, or givers or receivers. Monsieur right. So, in the latest stunning exposure and sanctioning of PYJ by the U.S. Treasury for siphonning millions of state funds through a pay-to-play racket that has been running for years now, we ask the following questions. And I'll answer these questions for you, Monsieur. We ask the following question. Who are the miscreants that have been engaged in the criminal, nefarious, sleazy act of pay-to-play with the controversial embattled Nimba County Senator? The people that have been involved, Ellen Johnson Sirleaf is one of the culprits. She has been giving Prince Johnson money, and that is how she won the 2 elections. And I am accusing our current president, George Manawia, of being involved in this behavior. because according to what the U.S. has been able to unearth, past and present administration have been doing business with Prince Johnson. They have been giving him money to maintain what they call domestic stability, fearing that this man going to bring some kind of war or something. And they have also been bribing him so that he will vote for whatever the executive sends to the legislature. So that is your answer, Mr. Robert Monsignor Okpara. I told you were man enough to call them by names. When will they be named, shame, and sanctioned too? Well, their time will come. Monsignor continue. In the name for transparency and accountability, can the U.S. just name the individuals and institutions that are accomplices in this barbarous scam and shame? Monsieur asked the question. As a lecturer of political science and international governance, I can discern much that the Americans are making a powerful and instructive statement indicative of the bold and fierce action taken against PYJ. I know there is a subliminal message embedded in this PYJ Waterloo. There are more corporates already booked, and in due time, the Americans will unravel their fate as was done to PYJ. So, may the word go forth and loud, Monsieur, right, that if you transacted with PYJ in this pay-to-play scam to defraud the struggling poor people of Liberia millions of dollars over the years, consider yourself walking dead, Monsieur Wands. You are done, according to Monsieur. In due time, you will face a similar disgraceful fate as PYJ, Monsieur prophesies. And he continues, as you pace to the historic 2023 presidential and general election, more striking exposures will be made essentially to give Liberians a due clue on how and who to vote for in the impending elections. This is the end of the road for PYJ and many others yet to be exposed. Monsieur writes, nothing permanent in the human world. What goes up must come down. He writes, the on-time minded PYJ is finished and he is going down with many. Monsieur won. His ambition for re-election in 2023 senatorial race is doomed. Monsieur writes, the American will demolish him politically. Note, they are set to slam him with tougher sanction ahead of 2023, which will invariably eradicate him from politics, and as he will be devalued and deflated in the eyes of the Nima people. Monsieur again prophesies it. Let those who have ears to hear, hear, and those who have eyes to see, see. The day of reckoning is coming. You have heard about the faithful Monday. And may I say more? Monsieur writes. And he ended by saying, enough said. And I want to add, already. So, to conclude on this, Prince Johnson has been dealt with an international political blow, and in Monsieur's words, that will devalue him and deflate him politically, and that he's doomed, and that the people of Nimba will not see him as that kingmaker. That is a prophecy. We wait to see. Time in Liberia will say, will tell. Let's bring you our final issue here, folks. The final issue here is juicy. Focus on Liberia is taking time to educate Liberians about the draft national 2022 budget. And we want to share with you what we continue to find in our research. And as we do this, I'm going to show you a graph. This graph captures what all has been placed into the budget by our government, the pro-poor government, for our counties. And we took it from their own budget, the draft budget of 2022. So let us display that quickly. First, as you can see, the table below shows the beneficiary of CDF, SDF, CFC, county forest sharing agreements. So folks, our government is telling you all these different allotments are for each of the counties. So there's something they call CDF, that it means County Development Fund. And then there's another one they call SDF, they call the Social Development Fund. I don't know which one is CSC. Somebody help me in the comment section here. Somebody help me in the comment section. What is this CSC? Is it County Social something? Somebody help me. But County Forestry Sharing Agreement and County Forest Agreement Arrears. So let's read the numbers. From top to bottom, if you look on the right, on the left, I don't know if you're left, but on my left, we have Bombing County Development Fund. This is something they have been giving to each county every year now for some time now. 200,000, 200,000, 200,000, 200,000, and that is the second row there, column there. All right. So county development CDF appropriation. So from top to bottom, you see each county has been giving what? 200,000. And the total for all the counties combined is $3 million. So $3 million has been allotted by our government for our counties. $3 million. All right. Then Social Development Fund, the total allotted for our county from top to bottom, you will see is also $3 million. Then that is the Social Development Fund. Social Development Fund, to tell you, is when there is a complaint in your county and that complaint, have a contract or has an investment in which the county is a party that the county is into benefit. Some of the money that's supposed to go to government is also given to the county because it is within the county that particular complaint operates. For example, if the complaint were a logging company and doing logging in your county, of course, you, the county, must benefit for what has been agreed upon between that company and the government. All right. So then that the resources there, or the trees or the logs being taken by that company belong to the county. The counties must share in the proceeds or the profit, right? So that's why they call the Social Development Fund. So if you look at the chart, you see Bombing County got 0, Bapulu got 0. This is so because they don't have any companies in the county that have reached a consequential deed that counties and the government can benefit from. Kidman, Grand Judah, Grand Crew, Grand Crew has nothing. Lofa has nothing. Maryland, Monserrato County has nothing. River Cess, River G, and Sino, they have nothing. Meaning there is no contractual agreement between the Liberian government and any company in any of those counties that are named. The other counties, they have something like bonds, so they get 500 or 1,000. Grand Bassa County, there where we have, believe, mental steel, the iron ore, and all that. So they got 1.5 million. They are blessed. They are lucky. My man Jerome Gilman will be laughing. Mangibi County got 200,000. That got to be a small little company there. And Nimba County got $5.1 million also. Because I think people are mining iron ore in Nimba, if I'm not mistaken, all of the time. So for forestry sharing agreement, my county, Grand Crew got 26,000. Lofa got 36,000. Maryland got 26. Most of the county got, for the most part, got 26, except for River Cess that got 172,000 because there's a lot of forestry work going on in all of these counties. And so these counties are getting some money. Grand Cape County got 150,000 for the county forestry sharing agreement. Somebody might say this is positive. And for county forestry agreement arrears, so this is money all the counties for maybe they should have paid in some previous year that were not paid. So this money also be. Now the last row there, or column there, the total amount is $9.7 million. That is $197,000. So I'm going to remove the charts and then I will bring my analysis. Few things I want you to remember. Each county, for county development, mark the word development, to develop each of our counties, our government in the budget gave each county just $200,000. Mark that. The total for all the counties for county development put together comes to $3 million. You remember that? Each county $200,000 to develop the counties, right? And all the counties put together, the total they gave them what? That $3 million. Mark that. Now, social development fund, forestry agreement, this, that, all put together for all of the counties, it came to what? $9.7 million. Mark that. So all the counties, they put them together. For development, they get them $3 million. Social development fund and every other thing, it came to $9.7 million. The proper government, that all they have for our county. In a budget of $748 million, about that, the counties only got $9 million. All the counties put together, they not even get $10 million. Well, that is for you to remember. Now, let me bring you some numbers here. This legislature, the budget code 8101 legislature, in the 2021 budget, the legislature got $26 million, which is $26.7 million. That what the legislature got in the 2021 budget. Because the budget has increased now, according to the proper government, the legislature money also went up. The legislature allotment went up from $26 million in 2001 to what? $54 million. It went to $54 million in 2022, in the 2022 budget. So technically, the legislature got about 40% increase. The counties in 2021, all of them each, they gave them the same $200,000. Even though the budget went up, the county development fund did not go up. But as for the legislature, who represent these counties, their budget went up by 40%. The county's budget went up by 0%. Who drafted the budget? The proper government, the government of the people. How in this world, fellow Liberians, can this thing be reasonable? The budget gone up, all ministries and agencies, government officials, budgets, everything gone up. The legislature budget gone up. The very county they represent, President, we are counts for a county. 12 who drafted the budget, the finance ministry, the executive that drafted the budget, come from a county. Or they all come from counties. The president budget went up. Even his stationary budget went up. Your stationary budget went up and the county budget can go up? How are you going to justify that? How are you going to ever explain that? In fact, fellow Liberians, I will shock you that the money allotted for our First Lady, Claire Marie Weah, went up. Claire Marie Weah in the budget has 700,000 United States dollars, but the county got 2. In other words, Claire Marie Weah got 500,000 more money than each of the counties. Is this proper? Does this government show in any way that it cares about the people in the counties? The people in the county are the ones that have little or nothing. So when it comes to budgetary allotment, they should receive more. We all come from the counties. We all want our counties to do well. The legislature, my understanding is that the total number of senators and representatives combined should be around 103. 103% getting 54 million. The counties, if you put all the population of the counties together, represent the entire population in Liberia. Even the very senator and representative comes from counties. And yet the county budget allotment for development in the 2022 budget is just 3 million. Compare 3 million for the counties, all combined, with 54 million for the legislature, all combined. And come to think about the legislature getting 40% increased in their budget, and the counties getting 0 increase. And you think the lawmakers get time for you? You are on your own. So, fellow Liberians, this thing here is not pretty. The president, we are stationary. President, we are in 2021, his stationary was 75,000. In the 2022 budget, it jumped from 75,000 to 500. Listen, 508,000. 508,000 is more than 200,000 for each of the counties. So President Weah, his stationary alone is more than, is in fact 300,000 more than what being allotted for the counties for development. President, we are on personal budget, office of the president. In 2021, it was 412,000. It jumped from 412,000 to 5,953,000. That is 5.9 million. Technically, that is $6 million. President, we are from 400 to nearly 6 million, and the county's budget of 200,000 for development remain the same. The East County budget for development of 200,000 remains the same. President, we are stationary, let me pronounce it. Somebody corrected me throughout my previous presentation. I'll call it stationary. Thank you for, see me, that's how I am. I don't know anything much, so I rely on people to tell me when I'm doing something wrong. So, President, we are stationary. Went up. It is even 308,000 more than what has been allotted for the counties. This is sad. This is wickedness. This is heartlessness. And there is no way to pull it. And some of you might be saying, how this guy can be a media person and speak like, I'm not speaking politics. I'm telling you something for what it is. How can you get each county for development 200,000? And then you get the first lady 700,000, which is 500,000 more than what you give each county for development. How can you give the president of Liberia $508,000 for stationary for in 1 year, in 12 months? And in that same 12-month period, you get 308,000 less for each county for development. How will they get development? Are you serious? If that is not wickedness, that is not insensitivity, if that is not unfair, how can you call it? How is that fair? How is that not being insensitive? How is that not wickedness? And the government that claims to be pro-poor, this is not pro-poor. The people in the counties are poor, so they should get more money. The president who is rich should not be getting more money, should not be getting increases in every budget line item for him. Every budget line item for President Weah went up out about 50, 60, 100%. And come to think about his own budget, office of the president, the money that goes into all his salary, it went up by nearly 600%, from 400,000 to 5.9 million. That is about 600% increase. How the president can get 600% increase in his personal budget and the county gets zero? It is that wickedness? Is that not wickedness? That is, to say that this is unfair is taking it light. The best way to describe it is wickedness. The people that own the country, that own the country, the Liberian people who own the country, the countries collectively make Liberia. The countries are the custodian of our country, of our sovereignty. To develop these countries, you gave them 200,000 each. And what you gave them is far more less than what you gave to the president for stationery. If you put all the president traveling expenses together, it's out of 3, 4, 5, or 6 times more than what has been set aside for the countries for development. To say that this is unfair is just taking it light. It's being diplomatic with it. The best way to pull it is complete wickedness, wickedness to the core. And that is what it is. Nobody can justify this. No justification can make sense. And we have been making efforts. The people in the final ministry, can you come here and explain to us how you arrive at these numbers? Can somebody come and explain to us, please? But they will not do that. And they know their reason for not doing that. Folks, again, the Hour of Politics, a special edition here by me, Anthony Sier. We brought you 3 major topics. First of all, a breaking news in the opposition Liberty Party. Nyamli Kanga Lawrence had a press conference today in which she used her authority and declared the convention that elected Musa Belete, Noy, and Vor, meaning that Chairman Musa Hassan Belete is no longer the chairman. That remains to be true. We don't know what's going to happen. What we know is that the crisis in the Liberty Party is far from being over. And we also brought you Prince Johnson being sanctioned by the U.S. government. And finally, we touched on the budget. We are on a mission here to explain the budget to you. And we show you the numbers. Each country got 200,000 for development. And 200,000 is less than what the First Lady got, less than even the president's stationary budget, leads to talk about the budget for his office. And so, folks, again, we can thank you enough. We will read a few comments here quickly. And then when we come back, we will be taking leave of you.
At Focus on Liberia, we discuss everything Liberia, from education to politics, arts and culture, entertainment, agriculture, history, religion, family, and technology. Focus on Liberia uncovers and showcases the best of Liberia and shows the world the truth about Liberia. We educate, elevate, and promote all things Liberia. We conduct interviews, panel discussions, debates, and more. Tune in to Focus on Liberia on Facebook and YouTube and be a part of the stories that make up the news.
This is Focus on Liberia, and I am Dennis Ja.
Thank you, Dennis Baku Kenjuja. My dear friend and brother, let me read comments here quickly and take leave of you guys here. What a blatter. Sarah Slans here, breaking news is not a crime. Anthony V. Kessley, did DeLong claim himself to be the liar, or was it conferred upon him by his supporters? The man claimed to be the light. Vamadi Donso numbly proved to us today that Liberty Party belongs to Bassa people and she is a dictator. Vamadi again, DeLong should pay Musa Belete money back. Josiah here writes, go help Musa get his money from DeLong. His Eminent Kessley is busy here. So now please define executive committee and tell us whether it was that legitimate body acting as laid out by the Constitution to effect the suspension. This aspect is indispensable to the legitimacy of the action. You might be speaking in constitutional terms. Let's read more comments here. A lot of comments. I see my man, Aliu Vamba, that is Aliu, who is the define the good standing, who defined the word good standing? Aliu, my man, why are you rushing to write this thing, man? You know, get this thing clear. Valentine pressure, that is true, my brother. Proof is the solution. Talk is cheap. I think if they had paid their due, she should have had her proof today. She is building her base because they know the Liberian people maybe with side outside understanding the process. People, take your time, man. It is because of you we are here. And your comments actually is your contribution, and I don't want it to be watered down. I don't want to add like Yombly Kaka Lauren and render your comments nor and void. Let's hear from Diwa Toko. Or you are a good lawyer, Anthony. Maybe Musu should hire you when the time is right to plead his case. But I mean Musa, but he said Musu instead of Musa. But as history has it, Musa is now former. All right. That's what the person is saying. But yeah, from Kesali 360 Sumo, I think Chairman Musa overstepped his boundary. He has some inner motive to hijack this party. He's too power greedy, and this is a complete. What kind of word is that? What is the word? All right, I will leave that word for now. People are using words here, and I'm learning from them. I don't want to. Let's hear from Angela Rose, though. Which of the Constitution are they using now? Her, they have two, of course. My sister, they may even have three, based on my research, but I can confirm two. We have copies of those two. Let's hear from Michael G. Sando. Your dislike for Senator Dillon has now clouded your objectivity, Monsieur, and I respect your opinion. But if you know what I know about Senator Dillon, I mean, you will sound even tougher on Dillon than I am. You have no idea what Dillon records. I have a whole file of Senator Darius Dillon. And Senator Dillon, if you are listening to the broadcast, you are invited on the Hour of Politics for an interview so that I can lay everything on you for you to fight back. The Facebook user, right? This controversy in the Liberty Party will be a legal test case of party politics and the rule of law in Liberia. And should serve as a legal precedence in our political and legal discourse. We are watchfully waiting to hear the outcome. That person, right? Let's hear from Humphrey Jabata. From the transformational leadership perspective, Bility has failed as a leader. His inability to keep party members together and resolve differences in-house manifests his inability to lead. Lots of comments. I don't know if I can get to all. Let's hear from Sompon or Yatuo. Where all NEC members of Liberty Party in good standing before rendering the decision to suspend the political leaders and others? If no, then I believe the decision for suspension is illegal. All right. Let's hear from Musu Sharia. How are people take your time? How does the future look like? How does the future look like for Prince Johnson going forward now after the Magnitsky Act rolled in? The future for Prince Johnson looks bleak, but that is Liberia. Let's hear from Prince here, focus on Liberia. After having listened to Senator Lawrence, suspended political leader of the LP press conference, I have come to the conclusion that the Liberty Party internal politics and issue has the potential to deteriorate the prospects of the CPP come 2023. Prince, you are wrong. CPP has no prospect as we speak. They destroy a long time. Therefore, I would like to publicly caution the current CPP leadership in the form of GMB Unity Party to avoid taking side or showing a publicly. This is an opportunity for Chairman GMB to demonstrate the leadership and exhibit wise old man. It ends there because it's long. Let me bring some more comments. Let's hear Mr. Jerome Gilman on about sedition. Yes, I am smiling. Go Grandmaster Conte. He is provocative. Let's bring few more comments here. We can't read them all, folks, because of time. Man Cartoon is waiting for me to go and poach. Let's hear from Helena, who follows us on YouTube all the time. They are not proper. They are non-proper. They use that term to fool the people, and because majority of the people are illiterate, not understanding the process of politics, that we are government play the people. That is a strong charge there, that the Liberian people have been played by the CDC government. Let's hear from Mangre here. Mangre writes, DeLong has been feeling himself. Oh, she pulled it diplomatically, and I know what she means by that. Let's hear this final one from Angela Rose Doegin. Jesus, I hope they enjoy all their fantasy on earth, because if any of them ask for a drop of water on their tongue in eternity, we will refuse. God damn it, too much, man. How can people who were born from poverty wish poverty on their own people by creating a lavish lifestyle? Sad, sad, sad. And I can sense her frustration. I'm sure the budgets of the country is what she's speaking to. We will always try to give you the facts. Let's hear from James David. Every patriotic Liberian need to go back in their various countries to tell their people how their sons and daughters are treating them as their leaders. I agree with you, and that should be done. Folks in cyberspace, focus on Liberia, answering CA, the hour of politics. This edition comes to an end with our song that says, we are all Liberians. And before I close that, maybe you should listen to this guy.
No, let me ask you this issue with Cabinet Janet. You people started these things and Representative Akaras Gray as the lead in Pinchot. Where we are, ECOWAS are ruled in favor of Cabinet Janet restoring his right and calculating all of his benefits that he so deserves.
You want me to comment on it?
I want you to comment. Is it that you fought a losing battle?
Let me say this.
Fail on what you fought?
The first in the legal arm of the government is handling that. That has been my official position. I have no further comment on that.
The government what?
No, the government legal arm is handling that.
You started this thing.
No, let me tell you, I have no role to play anymore.
You started it politically.
Excuse me now. I have no role to play anymore. I have no further comment. I'm running my campaign. I'm concerned about my campaign. That's my official position.
You should be concerned because the government now coming to spend good money.
I want you to be concerned, but
no money.
I'm now on my
campaign.
I'm now on my campaign.
You people, I'm now on my campaign. You and your candidate Thomas Farah led the country.
No, let me tell you something. I'm now on my campaign.
All right, folks, every good team must come to an end. And so they say another fiery edition of the Hour of Politics. All I did it for Liberia. I did it for the Liberian people. I have no agenda. If I do, my agenda is to bring you the truth that I research and I see. For that is the goal of Focus on Liberia, to educate, to elevate, and promote all things Liberia. So until I catch you again for another edition, I'm Anthony C. On behalf of our CEO, Dennis Jai, and all our hardworking and dedicated crew here saying, enjoy the song that says, we are all Liberians, and bye-bye.
We are Liberia. Liberia is our